Make the right decision about who owns planning and you can speed the whole process up. And along the way, you can lift the probability that sales will accept marketing's leads by 31%. You can increase the probability that those leads will close by 56%, and you can increase marketing's contribution to revenue by a whopping 62%. Make the wrong decision and you're stuck in planning hell forever. In 2005, we published a report, I'll call it a landmark report because it kind of was at the time, into sales and marketing alignment. That report and the content in it really structured the debate around the world on sales and marketing alignment really for the last 5 or 10 years. In 2013, we refreshed that research, published in 2014, and what we learned about planning and structure and training and demand generation and marketing automation and geography is going to get the debate going again. In this blog, I'm going to focus on just one of the topics from that research: who should own planning and why. At the end of the blog, I'll also show you how to get a copy of the whole report for free. No division had a better new business bias than finance, with 38% of the total revenue coming from new business. So we use them as the baseline and compare other potential owners to finance. So new business was 38% higher, but churn was 3 times worse. Yikes. Now, if marketing takes over as the primary driver of planning, everyone loves the leads, with a really healthy 55% lift in acceptance of MQLs. And customers are happier if marketing is driving planning too, with a 56% drop in churn. But that's where the good news stops. Deal sizes drop by 47% and closure capability drops by 16%. Those two factors compound to override any benefit from the reduced churn, with a net 32% reduction in new business as a share of revenue if marketing's hand is on the wheel. Now, sales would argue they're good at closing, but when they take the hot seat for planning, closure rates actually drop. They're 31% worse than when finance is in control. And marketing's leads are also held in the lowest regard when sales drives planning. Although sales is good at keeping customers, the low probability of closed leads for marketing, 26% lower than when finance is driving, means that marketing's contribution to total revenue drops by a horrible 47%. If production's in control, customer retention is at its best, with 72% less churn than when finance is throwing customers overboard in its quest for new business. Sales and marketing performances, however, hit an all-time low. Sales closure rates drop by 42%, and marketing, well, they might as well just go home. Closure of marketing's leads drops by 34%, and marketing's contribution to total revenue falls by, ready for it, 66%. Now, marketing's contribution hits an all-time low if operations is given ownership of planning, with closure of MQLs 54% lower than when finance owns planning. And marketing's overall contribution to revenue bottoms out at 72%, lower as a result. So does this suggest that planning has no happy home? Or should we just let finance drive planning and all pedal like loonies to generate new business to compensate for the horrible increase in churn or lost customers that result when finance is in control? Well, maybe there's a case for joint planning. Although proposal closure rates, that is the rate from when there's a proposal on the table, the closure rate doesn't actually increase through joint planning alone. When sales and marketing do plan together, we see significant improvements in marketing's contribution. Here are the 3 big measures. The probability that the sales force will be willing to accept a lead from marketing lifts by 31%. The probability that those leads from marketing close lifts by 56%, and marketing's total contribution to revenue increases by 62%. That's a really healthy uplift in the net output from your marketing investment. Now, finance seem to want to throw existing customers overboard in their pursuit of new business. So we probably don't want finance looking at new customers. But given that not only do they, when planning is involved, not only do they actually lift the focus on new business, they also increase deal size. So we're going to want them at the planning table. And operations and production, well, they have a big impact on customer retention as measured by churn. So I think we'd want them in the room as well. There is a big case for joint planning. Now, I know that marketing wants to be in control of planning, and sales probably has an argument for their involvement. Finance, planning and operation, that all mount a pretty strong argument too. But frankly, we all need to take our hands off the wheel and throw our hats into the ring. Now, I know I'm confusing metaphors there, but my point is everybody needs to be in control, not one person. Now, in a moment or two, I'll show you how to get a full copy of this report for free. Before I do that though, let me get to the conclusion from this report. In fact, why don't we do that right now? Marketing's contribution to revenue is highest and closure rates are best when the planning's done between 1 week and 4 weeks. That is, when the planning cycle takes between a week and 4 weeks. Now, sales closure rates are actually at their best in that same window, 1 week to 4 weeks. So it seems that sales and marketing are both happy with frequent planning reviewed often. In fact, marketing's contribution to revenue lifts by 209% when you plan quickly and review it often. And customer churn reduces by 13% when you plan quickly and review it often. So, take between 1 and 4 weeks, review it often, change it as you need to. And I'll add one last thing, not so much from the research, but my own philosophy, and that is the plan is either right and you're executing it, or it's wrong and you're fixing it. You can't afford to have a plan that no one believes in, and that's why you need to do planning together, do it quickly, and review it often. If you enjoyed this blog, then it's likely that you'll enjoy others. Why don't you go to mathmarketing.com/blog if you haven't already, and subscribe there either to the twice a week or the once a month blog series. Or go to YouTube and subscribe there. Now, if you have already, but you've got a colleague or friend who hasn't, why don't you recommend that they subscribe to the blog now? In fact, if you do that now, then come on back and I'll show you how to get a copy of that free report. Go to mathmarketing.com/alignment. And you'll find there an array of resources specifically around alignment. You'll find a copy of the full report, which you can download for free. You'll also find a webinar that I did that you may prefer to watch and listen to that if that's your preferred mode of absorbing the report. Or you may choose to do both. Now, how you actually build a clear plan that sales and marketing believe and buy into, I'll show you on another day. But for now, may your funnel be full and always flowing.